Welcome to Dakota Unsolved, where we delve deep into the coldest of cases and the most enigmatic mysteries from the heart of North and South Dakota. I'm Davis, your guide on this journey through the unknown. From baffling cold cases that have left investigators stumped for decades, to the chilling tales of the supernatural that defy explanation, Dakota Unsolved brings you stories that will captivate and intrigue. We'll explore unsolved crimes, disappearances, and mysterious deaths, shedding light on the darkest corners of the Dakotas. But that's not all. We'll also venture into the realm of the supernatural, where legends and lore come to life. Whether it's a decades-old murder case, a haunting that has plagued a small town for generations, or an unexplained phenomenon, Dakota Unsolved is dedicated to uncovering the truth and keeping these stories alive. Join us as we navigate the mysteries of the Dakotas, one story at a time. Subscribe to Dakota Unsolved and hit the bell icon so you never miss an episode. Let's explore the unknown together. Remember, every story deserves to be told. Some mysteries are just waiting to be solved. These are the chilling tales of the frigid Dakotas. This is Dakota Unsolved. Welcome to Dakota Unsolved, where we explore some of the most puzzling and unsolved cases from North and South Dakota. I'm Davis, and today we're delving into the tragic case of Larry Phebus, a young boy whose life was sadly cut short in 1962. On March 27, 1963, the body of 14-year-old Larry Phebus was found 2.5 miles south of Alexander, North Dakota. Larry had disappeared months earlier, on October 20, 1962, and it was believed he had been unalived around that time. In August 1961, brothers Chester and Larry Joe Phebus, along with Chester's friend Sam Wallace, moved to Tioga, North Dakota from Petersburg, Indiana. Chester noted that the fair was happening when they arrived. Chester worked for Jacobson's Construction and National Tank in Williston. Sam Wallace helped take care of Larry Joe while Chester worked. In October 1962, 14-year-old Larry Phebus was living in Tioga with his older brother Chester and Chester's friend Sam Wallace. The three were staying at a Travelers Motel while Chester worked an oil field job. On the night of October 20th, 1962, Chester and Sam went on a double date to Williston, which is roughly 49 miles away from Tioga, leaving Larry at the motel. Chester remembered Larry's last words that night: "You'll be sorry you aren't taking me with you." When they returned, Larry was gone. And what made this disappearance even more alarming was that Larry always left a note whenever he went out. This time, there was no note. Chester immediately began searching for Larry, reaching out to friends and checking nearby towns. He talked to Larry's two closest friends and other people in several towns, but no one had seen him since that Saturday night. On October 22nd, Chester reported Larry missing to the Tioga police and then notified Williams County Sheriff Leroy Lutz. Chester mentioned that Larry would sometimes hitchhike between Ray and Tioga. The two towns are roughly 15 miles apart, but he would never hitchhike more than 30 miles. Chester also contacted family in California, Illinois, and Indiana to see if Larry had shown up there, but he never did. Chester quit his oil field job in Tioga and moved to Williston to be closer to where the search was concentrated. He worked for Jacobson Construction and National Tank while living in Williston. After confirming Larry was truly missing, Chester called his mother, Mary Harrison, who wrote to the FBI. She eventually received a letter from J. Edgar Hoover stating that Larry had not been found. Shortly before Christmas, Chester took time to see his mother and siblings in Lompoc, California. "I hoped against hope Larry would be there when I arrived," Chester remarked, but he wasn't. It was a difficult Christmas for the family. Prior to his disappearance, Larry would sometimes visit the Pedersen family in Ray, as Sam Wallace married Ann Pedersen, who was related to Tioga's police chief. Chester noted that Larry had become close with Sam's younger brother in Texas before they moved to North Dakota. Unfortunately, all leads were cold. On March 28, 1963, two farmers were clearing rocks from a grain field near Alexander, which is roughly 77 miles from Larry's last known location, when they made a grim discovery. The partially decomposed body of a young boy was found with cords around his neck, wrists, and feet. The next day, authorities confirmed it was Larry Phebus. The coroner concluded that Larry had been unalived shortly after his disappearance. However, his body seemed to have been moved to the field only in December, leaving many questions about where he was kept and why his body was moved. The investigation continued, but leads were scarce. Sheriff Leroy Lutz was extremely disappointed when Chester couldn't identify some of Larry's friends. There was also speculation about a possible connection to an incident involving a young boy in Stanley, North Dakota, but this lead went cold. Coroner Clarence Leaseth stated that he had little doubt that Larry Joe Phebus was killed by a predator. Today, the case of Larry Phebus remains unsolved. His family and the community still seek justice for the young boy whose life was taken in such a grisly manner. If you have any information that could help solve this case, please contact the Williston Police Department at 701-577-1212 or call 1-800-222-TIPS to provide an anonymous tip. Thank you for joining us on this episode of Dakota Unsolved. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on more unsolved cases from North and South Dakota. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.